Okay, welcome back to... Well, again, strange things are afoot in Shane's soldering station. Again, I have another guest host today. This is Dom.
Hi.
Dom is from Game Trade. You've heard me mention Game Trade before. We've had Dave on here. I forgot to kind of mention when Dave was here that he's from Game Trade. Me and Dom been friends for what now? 20 years about?
A long time.
We met. He was a former employee at GameStop. Remember when GameStop was cool? I do. So that's a whole long story, but we've been friends and gamers for a very long time. And today we are reviewing Mouse PI for Hire.
Yeah, this game was announced years ago, I feel, too. I was excited. I don't know if they showed it at E3 one year, but it's finally out. Took a couple years. It's by a Polish developer. It's a little weird. From Poland, called Fumi Games.
Seems to be their first outing.
At least their first, hit the ground running. So.
And yeah, because this game, it's awesome. So your story starts out, you are Jack Pepper PI in 1934 Mouseburg, and you're starting off on a case of a missing movie star, Betty Blue.
And what's interesting about this game is it has that kind of, I guess, Steamboat Willie, or I guess Cuphead did the same thing not too long ago. They call it like that rubber hose animation where everything's constantly moving, so there's always something to kind of keep your eyes entertained.
Yeah, it's going back to the old like 1930s, 1940s cartoons. And what's really cool, what they do with this is the music, it's that old-timey, jazzy 30s, 40s music. And you can have the different kind of scratchy sound effects. You could have like the old vinyl or the old wax cylinders. So that's really cool. It gives you a kind of that feel that just gives you a little bit more immersion into the game.
I think you can add to in the options menu. I just played it default as is, but I think you can add like visuals of like you can make it look
the
like
film grain, yeah,
like grain crackly or whatever too, if you want.
Yeah, very cool. So as far as the gameplay with this game, it's not reinventing the wheel. There's nothing really too new with the gameplay. Pretty standard FPS stuff. You've got your weapons. A nice selection of them, some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, and I always appreciate a game when they give you a bunch of weapons and they make you want to use all of those weapons, so you're constantly switching, bringing up the weapon wheel. You always want to switch. Every fight's different too, so one fight you might want to use one weapon in one fight and another one in another fight, but it made it really fun just switching on the fly.
Yeah, and you'll have your go-to weapons. For me, it was the James gun, which was kind of just a play on a Tommy gun from back in the day. And the upgrades are really cool. Throughout the game, you're going to find blueprints to collect, and those are kind of your currency for upgrading your weapons. And you're going to bring them to one of the crazy characters you'll meet through the game, Tammy Tumbler. She's kind of like the goofy mechanic and stuff, can kind of make anything. But she has your hub basically for upgrading your weapons.
And then the game has, as he mentioned, a hub in between levels. You're going back to like the same like hub to either upgrade stuff, take on new cases, side cases, stuff like that. Also very reminiscent of almost like BioShock to upgrading skills and things like that. But I don't know, I was reminded of BioShock a lot while playing it.
Yeah, not to give too much away, there is kind of an underwater level that will kind of remind you of BioShock, which is pretty fun. Yeah, throughout the game also you'll get different abilities and stuff to help you navigate, because there is platforming in this. And one thing that can be really tricky in an FPS is platforming. Some games can nail it very well, some, yeah. And throughout the game, for the most part, I felt that the platforming was all right, not terrible. There was some stuff that could have been worked on to maybe tighten things up a little bit more.
Yeah, no, the controls were tight. Like you said, platforming most of the time works. Not even blaming the game. Sometimes I just blame myself for making poor jumps or not jumping far enough.
Yep, that will get you. And one thing too with it being black and white, like we appear to be now for some odd reason.
I still don't understand it.
But anyways, with that being said, the game, it looks great. It looks really good. However, being black and white, some things can muddy out that you might be looking for, that might be in the distance, that you can be wandering around looking for something that to advance so you can get to the next area, and you could easily miss it.
Yeah, and there are, for trophy hunters or achievement hunters out there, there are missable things like that in the game too. You can't always revisit a level, which I always prefer a game where you can kind of always go back in case you miss something. In this game, you can't always do that. So before you finish a level, make sure you are ready to leave that level.
Yeah, search everywhere, comb everything. I completed the game at 78%, so I obviously missed stuff, and I thought I was hitting every area like I could, but I missed a couple things. Like Don mentioned, like with the side jobs, you're going to meet a crazy cast of characters in this game. And though you're going to talk to them, a lot of dialogue. Keep that in mind. You were mentioning something about the dialogue that was kind of...
Yeah, the dialogue is, obviously the game's very humorous, funny, filled with more cheese puns than you know what to do with. But the thing with this game I noticed too, and again, it might just not be that major of a gripe to some, but the dialogue is spoken very slowly in the game. And it's all voice acted, obviously, and like Troy Baker, and everyone does a really good job, but a lot of the voices, or voice work is, it's just spoken very slowly, so a lot of dialogue takes a while, and especially reminiscent of 1930s, film and TV and stuff. Everyone always talked very fast, like, listen here, you. But yeah, just something I noticed in the game. Didn't detract me from, not liking it, but just something I noticed.
Yeah, because those old noir movies, everybody kind of was
mile a minute,
quick and sharp, just quick clips, like, hey, fella, But still, the dialogue is very entertaining. The story is really good. Normally, maybe this wouldn't attract me too much, but the story actually had me pretty hooked. I was, I wanted to keep going with and see what Jack Pepper was going to get up to next. And the story does get pretty crazy. We're not going to give any spoilers away here. The game footage you're going to see throughout this episode is probably, I'm keeping it from the first, 1 to 3 hours and stuff. Because there's not a ton in the first few hours, but it starts kind of ramping up, I felt, after about hour 3. Yeah.
And the main, there'll be main quests or missions or whatever you want to call them in the game too. Sometimes you'll just go do a bunch of side stuff and kind of, go away from the main plot. But when you come back, you're kind of back in it and curious where it goes.
Yeah, it's you are. How far are you into it now?
Maybe halfway. I play games at a snail's pace. I explore every corner, every nook, every cranny. Somehow I'm still missing stuff, but I love a game that makes me want to pretty much waste all my time doing that.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna love this one because, like I said, it has a lot of the standard FPS stuff going on. But what's nice about it, save points everywhere. You are not gonna, anytime you get something done, chances are there's gonna be a save spot right around the corner for you to save your progress. And it's a cool, you'll look for typewriters are basically your save spots.
Very Resident Evil.
Well, so as far as the graphics, awesome. If you enjoyed Cuphead, because it's very reminiscent of that. It's like Don was saying, it's that rubber hose kind of animation, but unlike Cuphead, this is all black and white. And it works. It works really good. What else are you thinking that we could mention to the audience about the graphics?
I already mentioned, everything moves in that game. Everything. There'll be little things in the background, just moving little animals, critters. There's just constant movement, so there's never, a slow, dull moment in the game. Your eyes are always, looking for stuff, seeing, I don't know, it just does a really good job of keeping you, I guess, alert. So
yeah, and as like I mentioned, there is platforming and stuff like that, which stuff is pretty well marked, for paint streaks or whatever you have to jump to and get to ledges or whatnot. They are usually very well marked for you to get. That being said, like I also mentioned though, with the black and white, if there's something in the distance that you just happen to be missing, it's easily missed.
And sometimes darker spots in the game too, I noticed. Like, there's certain spots that make you pull out a flashlight, but there's other spots that don't have you do that, and you can't always do that whenever you want. So some darker rooms, sometimes you'll go in, and it takes maybe a few seconds for it to kind of...
Like your eyes to adjust type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the flashlight, you're crawling around in a lot of air ducts and stuff, and you do get a Die Hard reference in there. The game is just chocked full of actual quoted movie lines and pop culture references.
And cheese.
Lots of cheese.
It even, I don't know, it hurt my... I have a little bit of lactose intolerance, and all the cheese in the game I was feeling it, but totally worth it.
Well, let's talk about some complaints, which, honestly, for me, I didn't have really many for this game. Some of the bosses, a little spongy. That's unfortunate. Not too bad, though. More for the end boss and stuff, kind of spongy, but you'll find out when you get there.
Yeah, and I mean, you might be able to call certain parts repetitive, similar to like the newer Doom games, like Doom 2016, Eternal, Dark Ages. You get to a giant area with a bunch of closed doors, a bunch of explosive barrels, and like, okay, I'm gonna have to, fight a couple waves before you can move on. So there is a lot of that, but again, the weapons make it fun and the animation makes it fun. There's a lot of death animations when you kill enemies there's a bunch of different ones that keep it exciting.
Yeah, pretty funny, especially with the way the different weapons, because you can actually blow enemies' heads off, which is pretty humorous considering the animation.
Yeah. There is gore to the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not. I did hear, I don't know if it's true that someone already modded the game to have like bright red blood in the game. I don't,
That would be pretty cool.
But yeah, the game does have a gore factor to it, but it still isn't like super graphic.
No, it's comedic to really go with the animation, because one of my favorite weapons in the game is the Devarnisher. And anybody that's seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it's basically the dip. Remember the dip? Mm-hmm. That little shoe. That still has traumatized me to this day.
That poor shoe.
Along with Artex.
Why did Doc Brown do that? No?
Just a moment. But anyways, yeah, the Devarnisher, it's awesome because when you shoot enemies and stuff, it basically erases their ink, and then they're a skeleton standing there, and then they kind of fall into a pile of bones. Hilarious.
Another cool feature, there is a mini game, which I don't. You didn't?
I tried it out. I think I tried maybe 2 rounds, but I didn't. Well, you have to explain it because I really didn't have enough to really play the game properly when I tried.
Yeah, so there's a mini game, a card game in the game. You collect baseball cards and like companion or like item cards, and then you basically play almost like a card game tabletop. In like a baseball diamond. It's all baseball themed. You play a card. It's really straightforward. Pretty much the higher the number you win. You'll play as the hitter and then the pitcher. But there are benefits to playing it. You can get some items that you can maybe spend to get other items in the game. I played a bunch of that. Maybe a little too much. But there are benefits to playing it. But I thought it was fun. It wasn't a lot of games have a card game or a side game like that, and you're kind of I don't really want to do that, or there's no benefits to do it, or it's convoluted. It's none of that. It's totally worth doing. The games are quick. You just have to use some of your money in the game to do it. But I liked it. I played that for a little while, actually.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. Money, you will find money, and it's everywhere. Yeah. Money is everywhere. So like we were saying, just comb every area because you're gonna. Plus, also, there are a lot of breakable barrels and crates and stuff like that, which kind of goes with one of my complaints, is there's a ton of them. And you'll find some, like, hidden back in some squirrely corner that you wouldn't, unless you're combing the area, and you're like, oh, cool, so you break them, and nothing.
A lot of them don't have anything in them, but that still doesn't stop me from breaking every single one I see, because you never know.
Yep, you never know.
And I think we have a lot to owe to Cuphead for kind of bringing this animation to games. But then Cuphead ended up getting, I'll admit I never watched it, but I know it got like an animated show, I think on Netflix.
Yep.
But obviously that animation works really well. If Mouse PI would take that route, I think that would be really cool. If they could get all the same, Troy Baker and stuff to voice the characters. I think it would really work as a show or
Absolutely.
a season or a series, or however they want to do it. But I think that would be really cool. I would watch that.
Yeah, and kind of like we were talking before, like each episode could be a case, but within that, an overarching backstory to kind of go through each episode. Yeah, that it would be an awesome show. I think I would definitely watch it.
That Netflix or Prime or Tubi, Peacock, whatever.
Anything.
Just someone do it.
Well, there you have it, folks. Cool review on a cool game.
Yeah.
It's on plenty of platforms to pick up.
PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, and PC, I believe. The game's out only digital right now. I think it was 30. I paid 30.
Yeah,
I
30
got
bucks
it on
for it.
PS5. I believe in July there's a physical coming out for all you physical collectors. I think there's a standard, and then there's like a limited edition I saw, at least on Amazon. I don't know what comes in it. Probably more cool goodies. I will definitely buy a physical.
Absolutely.
If I like a game enough, I'll buy it digital, and then I'll buy it again. That's what we do. We're crazy. We'll buy it twice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's also some other cool stuff coming physical for the game. You can actually get the soundtrack on vinyl. I believe it looked like a speckled
It was
vinyl.
like a kind of black and white, like speckled vinyl.
Which is
that was
pretty
on their website.
Right on their website, which is fumi.com, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so yeah, I'll drop that link to that down below in the description so you can go check that out. Also, one thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about the gameplay, and there's collectibles to find. You'll find these little mouse figures, and I'll drop the animation in so you guys can see it. It is hilarious. But they're also putting out a Funko Pop of that figure, so I will probably be buying myself one of those.
And that was also in the newer Doom games. You would find little figures.
Little Doom guy.
So again, a lot of Doom comparisons.
And yeah, so it was a great game. I'd give it, if I did scores on here, which maybe, who knows, maybe I'll start, but I'd give it a solid 8.5.
Yeah, it's a solid, good. Nothing, like you said, doesn't invent the wheel. Nothing amazing, but it's such a unique, visually, I would say that, like, I don't know, it sets it apart just on that standpoint alone. But yeah, super fun.
Yeah, because it's got a great variety of and fun weapons to use, and the story really does carry it, and it carries it well. It's not a throwaway story. Some, first-person shooters, the story is kind of just secondary to what you're doing. This one actually carries it. Fun story. So yeah. Oh, okay.
All right.
Back to color. I like it. So anyways, that's all we got for you today.
Good. Go play it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go play it. And until next time, keep that solder flowing. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.